People of Reddit, what was your revenge on a bully? I showed this boy in my first grade class this cool rock I found, as I was convinced it was a moon rock. He asked to hold it to admire it, so I let him. And then he proceeded to launch it into the forest and laugh at me. So I did what I had to. I grabbed my chocolate pudding container and put it in the pocket of his sweater and smacked it so hard it exploded all over him. Even though I lost that cool rock and my afternoon snack, I kept my pride that day. I had a bully who'd call me Hitler only on the basis that I'm Austrian. It was like out of a movie. He was making fun of me and I taunted him back. He came at me and when he got close I put my hands up in a don't hit me position. But he slipped on a wet piece of wood and fell. That's not what the other kids saw. Everyone else saw him come at me and then my hands flew up at his face and he hit the ground. They thought I was a badass that decked him in the face. I didn't even get in trouble because the recess teacher saw how the whole thing actually played out and he got in trouble. We became recess buddies after that. I knocked him out with my lunchbox. I challenged him to a fight in front of the other students and he didn't show. Does that count? In a high school soccer game, this jerk I was guarding kept sneaking in dirty shots, kicks and elbows, when the ref wasn't looking. After that had gone on for a while, he turned his back to me so he could receive a pass. He kept banging his body into mine, right behind him, to clear out space. I timed it just right. And as he tried to hurl himself backward into me one more time, I sidestepped and gave him a little shove. And he stumbled out of control, arms flailing, and fell flat on his back. I wasn't a very physical player, so my teammates who saw that were surprised. The best part was when some of them just cracked up laughing. He destroyed my math project and pushed me down the stairs a bunch of times. I got his black belt taken away. Gave 3 guys a half ounce of weed to beat him up and tell him to leave me alone. Not me, but a friend. She had a neighbor from hell. Is there just no neighbor? If not, there should be. Decades of bullying. Calling the cops when her kids played basketball in the driveway after school. Yelling at her whenever leaves from her tree blew into his oh so perfect lawn. You get the picture. This guy was a fanatic about his lawn. Out every day weeding, raking, mowing, fertilizing, whatever. She played the long game. Planted mint several feet from the property line where he couldn't see it. That stuff can send roots a long way. It took a couple of years, but eventually mint started popping up in his lawn. She said the look on his face the day he noticed it was priceless. He's never going to get rid of it. Not a bully really. But this older girl in high school loudly announced to the cafeteria that my thighs were so huge as I was wearing my cheerleading uniform. A few years later, I was going through my rebellious teens and dating this older Thai guy who ran in the same circle as her. First time I saw her I was shocked that she introduced herself to me. Then she cried about how her boyfriend just went to jail for dealing heroin and she didn't make enough money stripping to keep the apartment and that was all the revenge I needed. My ex was emotionally manipulative. When we hung out he was always logged into Netflix with my brother's account because he refused to buy his own. After we broke up I saw that he was watching Breaking Bad. So we waited until he got to the last season and changed the password. I dated his sister. Shanked him with my house key. As I stood up to walk off the bus he got up to stop me. I was anxious to get home so I was already holding my keys up. Straight up stabbed him with it. Obviously keys aren't sharp so it didn't pierce any skin or anything but I pushed it in pretty deep. Right below the belly button. All my weight went into it. I was 14ish at the time. He was dead but I caught him off guard so I pushed him aside and walked on. That's all there was to it. He didn't come after me anymore IDK if he felt in it that I was willing to legit gut him IDK. Beats me. Not me. But my mom. At the place where she worked this guy liked to pick on her. So one day he decided to take her car keys and drop them down his pants. My mom was slightly embarrassed but needed to get home. So when he proceeded to challenge her to get them, she did. While she was grabbing them, she may or may not have grabbed some of his pubic hair and twisted and yanked. He didn't mess with her again. Where the hell does she work that blatant sexual harassment like that is at all tolerated? Going to college and becoming successful. She bags my groceries every time I visit my hometown. I know it's wrong to take satisfaction from this, but I can't help it. This kid on the bus in middle school always used to make fun of my friend for being gay. One day he was grabbing him by the hair and slamming his head into the window while calling him gay slurs. So I tapped him on the shoulder and gave him a really tight punch in the face that didn't feel satisfying at all. But it was enough to break his glasses and make sure he never messed with my friend again, so it was a win and my first real physical confrontation. This kid at my brother's middle school once cut the whiskers off of a cat's face with some friends and bragged about it. Cutting the whiskers off a cat is like torture, leaving it unable to navigate and sense things around it. The whiskers are incredibly sensitive. My brother loves cats. When my bro found out, he grabbed the kid by the shoulders and head-butted him as hard as he could, leaving the bully crying on the ground with a broken nose, blood covering his face. Afterwards, my brother was known affectionately around school by the nickname Head. And of course he got in huge trouble for it. But he didn't care. We had a debate for class, and I pretty much wiped the floor with him. Dude barely even practiced, plus I was the quiet kid so people expected me to be passive. It wasn't my doing. But the girl who harassed me and hit me in the locker rooms after gym class got pregnant and quit bullying me. In the 7th grade. I still feel weird about the all-consuming schadenfreude I experienced when I saw her waddling through the halls of our junior high. All I can think of from that little snippet is that she must have had some bad going on behind the scenes in her life. He didn't get to be my friend, so his eternal loss. In 8th grade there was this guy in my class who just enjoyed mocking me. I was quite chubby, shy and insecure at the time. One day he got my school laptop somehow and played a PRN video on it in the middle of the hallway with the speakers turned to 11. He was screaming, "Look everybody, what? My name is watching." Everyone was looking, laughing, and begged me to take back the laptop from him. I tried taking it back but he wouldn't have it. We had a small fight over it. All this while I was really embarrassed, sad and angry, as well as people filming it all. In the end I snapped, so I grabbed one of his fingers and pulled and bent it so hard I broke it. I remember he left crying after that and all the kids around us walked away like nothing happened. He never mocked me again after that. Signed them up for Mormon home visits online and specified that they should be persistent. Gave him a stick of gum covered in laxative. He was out for 3 days. Not me but my sister. There was this girl on the bus who kept eyeing with her every day. No one would do anything about it. The other girl got off first and my sister followed. She put the fear of Satan into that girl. Beat the out of her. Didn't mess with my sister again. My friend. But at the end of the year he shoves his bully into a door and the teacher arrives as he is about to fight back. Friend didn't get into trouble. I think he was being mean to me while we were sharing a woodwork class table with a bunch of pretty girls. Somehow, he got me removed from that table. He was lying about me being a distraction. And I got laughed off that table. Capital P. Before we left class that day, I methodically went to every table, offering to pick up everyone's sawdust, wood chips, and after that class, I threw all my lunch in the garbage and scooped up all the sawdust I could into the empty containers. As soon as school was out, I waited for him to pass me on the way to the bus stop. And when he did, I pulled at the back of his shirt collar and dumped all the sawdust down there. When he turned around, I threw what was left in his face. It was hot out. The sawdust stuck to his stupid, sweaty face and ugly, sweaty back. Worth it, though. All my friends and I, and hey, some pretty girls, too, laughed him straight into the bus. Not my best hour. Sent him 4 magazine subscriptions 24 years later. Put her number on Craigslist attached to a furry ad. Got on with my life and let karma do the rest. He flunked out of college and has no social media accounts. Seems to be either incarcerated or deceased. It wasn't actually revenge. But when I bumped into the HS bully 35 years later, in his fluorescent orange town crew vest, on his break from collecting roadkill, it made me so happy. My stepdad. For 2 weeks I swished his toothbrush in my daily toilet before flushing. Then left a note telling him so before I ran away to my dad's house. Never had to return lol. Okay. It's my time to shine. My bully was the give me your lunch or I'll beat your ass kind of bully, and I was a PSSY ass bitch who couldn't stand up for myself. So I had this problem going for a few months until I came, literally, with an idea. Since he was taking my lunch every single day, I decided to make the lunch myself. So every day I woke up early to make a nice lovely sandwich for him. BTW. Here's the recipe. My sandwiches were made with bread, ham, cheese, lettuce, mayonnaise, and cum. Yes, cum. My salty and delicious teenager essence. Bread absorbs cum like a sponge, so all you have to do is spread mayo over your cum and it will hide it like it never was there. I made him eat my cum for 3 years without him knowing it. Best years of my life lol. I never told this to anyone. Not even him. So Regis, if you're reading this. My parents found out about this kid bullying me in 9th grade and brought me to his house to tell his mom. Divorced. Dad not in picture. Long story short, we ended up becoming good friends. After we graduated he went off to college and I still came by because his family was so nice. Well, his mom had a few too many drinks and came on to me and we had sex in his old room. Beating them up when I was tired of their hitting me, making me fall and startling me and then laughing, pushing me. All from different people. Different times. I got to use a quote on her from Easy A that I never thought I'd get to. She used to interrupt when people were answering the teacher with you name. One day she did it to me. I said I don't have any nickels. Can you make change? She responded the 90s called and wants its joke back, and I responded with 2090 called. You're dead and your life didn't matter. I was the quiet kid, so this caused the class to erupt. Teacher brand new too, so she could never handle this girl, but even she lost it. Being more successful and living a more interesting life than all of them. Remember this guy a few years older than me would always laugh at my name, now one of the most popular baby names. Anyway, a couple years later after he left school, his younger sister asked me out and I said no. 1-0 me. Shoulder at her bro. Not mine, but there is a vid of a fat kid that picked up his bully, flipped him upside down, then like pin dropped the bully on his head. Kid was a lying beast. Trans woman here. 8ish years after middle school and after transitioning, I ran into my middle elementary school bully, who happened to match with me on a dating app. At this point, I'm completely unrecognizable to my former self from 8 years ago. So he had absolutely no idea who I was. I talked with him a little. He said I was super cute. And then eventually I revealed who I was back then, by sharing specific details on stuff only he and I knew experienced. He ended up apologizing for the things he did to me and said he'd change a lot. Most surprising of all, he didn't even mind it, me being trans. And that I was the person he'd bullied, and was still down to date me. LMAO. It wasn't a bully, but a popular girl in my class. So one day in science class, I'm the most advanced in my science class. This girl asked me to do her work, a test, so I finished my work and did it. Instead of writing the right answers, I wrote the first things that came to mind that were wrong. She failed the test, and her friends never again asked to copy off me. So it was a make-up work day in that class. I don't let them copy my work. And actually one time this girl snatched my work from me. I was too shy to make a scene though. Looking back at it, I wish I did. We got married. And now you're going to divorce him. Take the house, the car and the kids. Half his money. And his pride. Hell of a plan. A classmate got his bully's license revoked right after the douche got a brand new Camaro for his birthday. Basically, victim had gay dads, a lawyer and a cop. And bully had already amassed numerous speeding tickets that his big shot dad managed to talk his way out of. Until he fender bended the cop's car while high. And made some homophobic remarks. His dad had to sell the Camaro to pay the tickets and fines. And had his name dragged through the mud. There was this one school bully who was a real piece of garbage to everyone. She had a kind-hearted boyfriend. But after he left her, she decided to accuse him of upping her. She kept posting online about how abusive and terrifying her ex was. But most of us knew she was lying. She even blatantly admitted to lying about that. But she still screamed and cried about it on social media. She got the attention she ordered. And from what I heard, her ex-boyfriend attempt to commit suicide as a result of the rumors. I got fed up. I hacked into her Facebook account and posted proof that she was lying. I changed the email and password to the account so that she wouldn't get back into it for a while. It got some attention. I later hacked her Instagram and posted the proof there. After it got enough attention, I deleted both of her accounts and changed the password to her email. She lost a lot of friends. And she's in a dark place right now. She deserves it. Beat the out of them. I was way bigger and had asked them to leave me alone. They didn't and I eventually lost it. Bit the inside of my cheek and bled all over the margins of my Spanish quiz. Then told the counselor what was happening when I was inevitably sent to her office. 2 of them were suspended for the rest of the year. Their leader was expelled. Turns out I wasn't the only one they were harassing. Semicolon. I'm in college now and sometimes I wonder if they cleaned up their act and are doing well. 2. My children have the same father. Living my best life. He made me miserable all through middle school. He was racist towards me when we were the same race. Made fun of my weight while he was also fat. Now 25 years later, he has an account at the financial institution where I work. He asked for the hold on his check to be released because he is always overdrawn. I'm the president CEO of the financial institution. I will allow it. Not exactly revenge, as I had nothing to do with it. But karma. I had a regular bully. A step cousin. When I was younger, he used to turn my blood cousin against me. Throw rocks at me. Mock the hell out of me at every opportunity he could. And even left me stranded in the middle of the woods. In my 20s. I had an abusive girlfriend. Physically. Mentally. Emotionally. It made me not want to date anyone for the longest time and gives me nightmares to this day. Both of these bullies wound up having kids who died before the age of 1. Permanently eyeing them up emotionally and ruining their lives. Both deaths were chalked up to SIDS. And I couldn't exactly feel bad for either of them. As horrid as that sounds to say. I kicked him in the dick. T-posed to assert my dominance. Then walked off like nothing happened.